You know who I'm talking about. They're the life of every party, the one who's always got a joke, always ready with a laugh. But what if the funniest person you know is actually the one who's hurting the most? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the psychology of people who hide their pain with humor.
It's a really strange, powerful idea, isn't it? The funnier they are, the lonelier they feel. It almost seems backwards. So, let's explore exactly why that is.
All right, so first up, let's talk about the performance itself, because that's what it is. This isn't just someone who's naturally in a good mood all the time. This is a role they play, a full-time job. I mean, they absolutely light up every single room they walk into. But what happens when the party's over, when the laughter stops and they're all alone? This is the heart of the whole struggle, this huge gap between the public show and the private reality. So, why? Why the constant performance? Well, it's not just about getting attention. It's actually something much deeper. It's a really powerful psychological tool. Think of it as humor being used as a shield. And yeah, psychologists actually have a name for this. They call it humor as a coping strategy. This isn't just a personality quirk, you know? It's a survival skill that's been practiced and perfected over years. It's a way to keep those really difficult, painful feelings locked down and out of sight. And the logic behind it is, well, it's brutally simple. Laughter is a smokescreen. It's distracting, it's disarming, and most importantly, it stops people from looking too close. If everyone's laughing, nobody ever thinks to ask, hey, are you really okay? It keeps everyone at a safe distance.
Okay, so we've seen the public face, and we understand the shield, but what is actually going on inside? What's the real internal cost of being the funny one all the time?
So contrary to how they might seem on the surface, these folks are often incredibly sensitive. They feel things really, really deeply, but they've just learned to bury it all under layers of jokes. There's also this huge, profound fear of being a burden on anyone, which makes them masters at reading a room and keeping things light. And you can just imagine how exhausting this is. Seriously, think about the sheer energy it takes to be on all the time, especially when you feel like you're crumbling on the inside. Over the years, that gap between the mask they wear and the person they really are, it just gets wider and wider until it feels like this huge, lonely canyon. And this leads to this really profound, specific kind of loneliness. It's not that they're not seen. They're seen all the time. They're celebrated, they're loved, but they're loved for the mask. The person underneath, the one who's actually in pain, stays completely invisible. It's a terrible irony, isn't it? To be loved for a version of yourself that isn't even real? So, where does a pattern like this even start? Well, to really understand the shield, you have to first understand the wound it's protecting. And so often, that wound starts way back in childhood.
Look at this. It draws a pretty direct line, right? A lot of people who use humor to cope grew up in environments where showing emotions just wasn't okay. Crying was seen as weakness. Sadness was an inconvenience. So you learn really early on it is much, much safer to be funny than it is to be sad. And that lesson, it sticks. Vulnerability feels dangerous.
And then there's this other fascinating layer to it. Some research actually connects this whole pattern to high intelligence. And it's not that they don't feel the pain. Oh, they feel it. It's that their mind works so fast, it immediately jumps to find the absurdity in the situation, the irony, the punchline. It's a way to reframe the suffering into something, well, survivable. So after hearing all this, if you're thinking, wow, that sounds like me, or maybe someone you love, is there a way out? Yes, absolutely. There is a path to healing. And it all starts with finding your real voice again. First, and this is so important to acknowledge, your humor is a gift. It really is. The ability to take your own pain and spin it into something that brings joy to other people, that is a remarkable strength. But that gift should never come at the cost of your own well-being. You deserve to be seen too, the real you. Look, healing isn't about suddenly stopping being funny. Not at all. It's about creating just one safe space for honesty. The whole goal is just to find one person, one relationship where you don't have to be on. A place where you can finally just say, you know what, I'm not okay, and not immediately follow it up with a joke. That one connection can be a total lifeline. And hey, if you're on the other side of this, if you love one of these amazing, constant performers, how you ask them is everything. A casual, you good, is so easy for them to just laugh off. But a quiet, direct, and genuine, how are you actually doing? That can sometimes be the key that finally unlocks the door. It shows them you see past the performance. And that really just leaves us with this final thought. In our friend groups, in our families, we really need to start asking ourselves this question. Who is checking on the person who checks on everyone else? Because the ones who make sure everyone else feels okay are so often the very last people to get that same care in return. If any of this resonated with you today, please just know that you are not alone in this. Here at Solve Psychology, our whole mission is to explore the parts of the human mind that the world often forgets to try and understand. So if you want to learn more, please subscribe. We'd love to have you.